questions, for example, about the transparency and what truly is held in the reserve. Is gold worth more in the USA or the UK, for example? Exploring these price differences between the global gold markets is key, and how international trade impacts gold valuations. So they are gold backed currency discussions, like, for example, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, for example, BRICS, working on an alternative financial system to possibly bypass the US dollar, and how this might affect the global gold reserves, for example. So, why is gold still the best investment today? So, governments and wealthy investors continue to buy gold as an edge against inflation. The US gold reserves, for example, undervalues on paper at $42 per ounce, while the market price is over 2,900 per ounce. Well, actually, when I did it today, it said 3,000 per ounce, for example, dollars. So the potential gold packed digital currency could change the way gold is valued and used. So, how do you start investing in gold today? Well, start looking at buying physical gold. That's what I did. I brought physical gold from either dealers or sellers, or even, hold a party, for example, and ask people to bring their scrap gold. Like, there could be an earring that's missing another earring, so they could find scrap gold that's no good to them because they don't have the other part to it, for example. That's how I started, for example. And then you can also get it turned into gold, have it melted down into gold bullion, for example. And there's banks and there's vaults to secure, but you also can have home safes as well for this, because that's more less expensive for you, but also you can get hold of it whenever you need to, rather than having to travel all the way to a bank and then you got to get them to open up the vault, sign for it, and then put a big record of what you're doing, for example. So with regards to testing the gold, some tips here is use some kits. There's some gold testing kits that you can purchase along with the scales as well. When you're shipping, always track international shipments, but also track the international gold prices as well, so that you understand how the tariffs and economic shifts impact the gold value in different countries. So I wanted to really go through that with you because my journey at that time was really exciting, and I was holding various gold parties around the UK at the time, and I was getting people to come, and then, or I would go to theirs and someone would bring scrap gold that they don't use because they've lost a piece of an earring or something's broken off, so it's no good, they're not able to use it. So then I would come with my scales, and then I would weigh it, and I would say, oh yeah, I would have my calculator, and I'll say, right, okay, yeah, this is worth about £3, for example. And they would bring quite a few things that wasn't any good to them, for example, broken bits of jewelry, one earring because they'd lost the other, or even an earring back. All of these things would add up, for example. And then I would then say, right, I'll give you this amount for it. And I would come out with like a bag of gold. I felt like that I was, very wealthy, for example. But yet I paid, it was scrap gold, for example, and silver as well. I used to purchase as well from people. And that's what I did. One of my side hustles that I did that I've never really spoken about here on YouTube, but it really does work because at the end of the day, you can always use that gold bar, for example, and trade that for money, for example, or sell it, for example. So maybe it's something that you might start looking at because, even Donald Trump and Elon Musk, they're talking about the gold reserve, seeing what's there, because what used to happen and what possibly could be happening is that they're perhaps taking it and sending it to other parts of the world, for example, because England, they've got their gold reserves, so's America, etc. Maybe they, give each other a loan through gold bars, for example. And I'm just giving you some examples here. But gold is not depreciating in value. It will always go up because when I got it years ago, and I'll have to look at my old receipts, for example, it wasn't this much. It was very, very low back then. But now it's really gone crazy price wise. So it's something that you would think that you didn't think about. Maybe this could be used in a valuable way. Even if you've got pieces of gold that you're missing something from it, so it's not a match anymore, you can't use it. What are you going to do with it? That's a way of getting some extra cash in for you at home, for example. So I want to ask you a question. Have you ever thought about investing in gold?